Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about the top 21 books I need to read in 2021. So I've done this for the past 2 years basically. These are like the top books on my TBR, so hopefully I can read them all in the new year. This doesn't always go to plan because, you know, I'm a big mood reader and sometimes your tastes change and stuff like that. But I feel like I will read at least most of these in 2021 because I'm super excited about these. These are, like I said, the top books on my TBR and I just really need to get to them because I think I'm gonna love them. They're all like 5-star predictions for me, you know, so I just have high hopes and I need to read them. I also just love talking about the books that I'm really excited about at the moment, so this is always such a fun video to film. And these aren't new releases, by the way. Like, I did a separate video talking about my most anticipated releases of 2021, so I'll leave that linked above and below. But yeah, these are just books I already own that I need to read in 2021. So first I have 2 books that I'm currently in the middle of and I need to finish. I know I'm not going to finish these this month, so I need to finish these next year. So we have The Damned by Renee Ardier. I'm currently on page 56 and so far I'm loving this. If you don't know, this is the sequel to The Beautiful. So basically it's a fantasy. It involves heaps of different supernatural creatures. It's set in 1800s New Orleans, I believe, and I absolutely loved The Beautiful. It was one of my favorites of the year. So I started this straight away when I got it, but I ended up prioritizing other books, so I have been slowly reading this, and like I said, I'm only on page 56, but I am really loving this so far. I think in the back of my mind I'm scared to continue reading this because I have seen mixed reviews, and because I loved The Beautiful so much I am nervous. Like, I really don't want this to let me down, but I definitely need to read it, see what I think. So hopefully I can finish this in January because, like I said, I'm currently reading this. I just know I don't have much time to physically read in December, so yeah. Hopefully this is amazing. The next is a book I've been in the middle of for over a year. That is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha and Yan. Yeah, I started this I think in October 2019. Okay, I don't know. I don't know when I started it, but it was a while ago and I got up to page 57. Oh my gosh. 56, 57. I'm also loving this. Like, I've loved what I've read. And this is also the sequel to something. This is the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire. I love that book so much. Anyway, so I have been meaning to continue this for so long. Like I said, I started it and then I wasn't in the fantasy mood, so I put it down and I haven't picked it up since. But it's been bugging me for so long and 2021 needs to be the year that I finally freaking read this because it's honestly so annoying at this point because I love the first one, like I said. This is literally faced outwards on my bookshelf. I've talked about it so many times. Like, I've talked about how I need to finish it so many times and I'm sure even you are getting annoyed because I keep talking about it without freaking reading it. So, you know, it's gonna happen. It's going to happen, especially because I don't know if the 3rd book is going to come out in 2021. I don't think there's been a release date yet, but you know, maybe it will be coming out next year. So then that will be good to read this and then like jump into the finale. So we'll see. But the next category is books that came out this year but I didn't read, so I need to read them. So the first one is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller. This is supposed to have Get Out vibes. It also explores gentrification and I've just heard such good things about this. And I was supposed to read it this year, but obviously that didn't happen. The next is this YA fantasy. This is Legend Born by Tracy Dion and I am so excited about this because it sounds amazing. It's supposed to have like those early, I think 2000s YA fantasy vibes, but like more diverse obviously because we have a main character who is black. So there's flying demons. There's a secret society called Legendborn where students hunt the creatures down. There's a mysterious teenage mage called Merlin. It just sounds so cool. I think it even has like dark academia vibes. So just everything about it sounds amazing. I've also mentioned how my friend Mika has read this and loved this and she really said like, you need to read this, and I know I'm gonna love it. So I need to read this. I'm actually planning to buddy read it with Mika too, so that will be so fun. The next is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This is a horror about 4 witches, 4 warnings, 4 plagues. I absolutely adore stories with witches and this just sounds incredible, and this is written by a black author and I've heard amazing things. The next book is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a fantasy. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai and I've literally heard non-stop praise for this book. I've been so excited for it to release and I need to get to it ASAP. So of course this had to be in the list. I really plan to read this soon, like maybe January, we'll see. But yeah, I've just been so pumped for this because people have been talking about it on Twitter for like, I swear, the whole year. So I've just been waiting for it to come out and it's finally out and I haven't read it yet. So I need to get to that and yeah, that just sounds amazing. Okay, the next is Feel Like Ever After by Kaysen Calendar. This was one of my most anticipated releases. It's basically a contemporary about a trans boy who is getting blackmailed and ultimately he's just trying to be happy, but there's all these obstacles and he's just trying to find himself, stuff like that. And once again, I've heard such good things about this book. I'm really annoyed that I didn't read it this year because I really thought I was going to. I was so excited, but I did mention how I was waiting for the audiobook. I need to check if it's out yet in Australia, but hopefully. Okay, the next book is Grown by Tiffany G. Jackson. This is a thriller, and this follows Enchanted Jones, who wakes up with blood on her hands but has no memory of the previous night. So sounds like it's going to be fun. I usually don't like to know much about thrillers before reading them, so that's what I know. But once again, I've heard amazing things. I've heard amazing things about all these books, so I'm really excited about this. Okay, the next category is thriller / horror, which is a book genre I have gotten way more into this year, so I definitely want to continue that because I love it. So yeah, I have quite a few that I want to read in the new year. I have way more than this, but I just thought I'd include a few for this list. So first we have Real World by Natsuo Kirino. This is the same author of Out, which is a thriller book that I read recently and I really loved it, so I definitely want to read more of their work. So yeah, this is Real World, and this is about 4 teenage girls, and one of the girls' next door neighbors is found brutally murdered. This is a lot shorter than Out. Out was like 500 pages. This is like 200 pages, so this should be, you know, quite a quick read. This next book is probably the most intimidating on the list, and that is House of Leaves. So this is supposed to be the scariest horror book of all time, well, just the scariest book of all time, and it is really fascinating. I only found about it this year, but it's really interesting because basically the story used to be passed around on like scraps of paper, and it would get like uploaded online and stuff, but then they collected it all into one book. And it's just a really interesting format because it's not the traditional format. Like, you've got some weird pages. So I think this is going to be a super interesting time. It is absolutely huge. It's like 700 pages. And I've heard it can be like hard to read and stuff. So I am nervous, but I really want to read it. It just really intrigues me. I don't even know what it's about. I really don't. But apparently it's a love story. And it's apparently funny, moving, sexy, beautifully told. So I really want to read this and film a vlog where I read it because, like I said, it's supposed to be the scariest book of all time. I want to see if I actually get scared. I don't really get scared reading horror books, so I'm interested to see if I actually get scared. Anyway, so let's hope I can read this. At the moment I am planning to read it with Caitlin, so, you know, we can hold each other accountable and get through this huge book. So I think it would just be such a fun time. I'm really excited, even though it is intimidating. I just think, yeah, this is a challenge I want to take. So the next book is In the Miso Soup. This is a thriller that has been translated from Japanese. Super short, yeah, like 200 pages. This is one of the most recommended translated horror books, so, you know, that's all I need to know, and I love Japanese horror. So the next book is The Changeling by Victor Laval. So this is another horror, and it's written by an author of colour, which is always something I want to do, read more books by authors of colour, specifically horror since it's harder to find, but anyway. And I'm pretty sure this is Jessie from Boathouse and Books. I'm pretty sure this is their favourite author, and Jessie loves reading horror and stuff, so it makes me excited to read their work. And I've owned this for quite a few months now, and I really want to read it. And it basically says, when Apollo Kagwa was just a child, his father disappeared, leaving him with recurring nightmares and a box labelled Improbabilia. So this sounds super interesting. Hope I love it. The next book is Another, and this is a light novel. So this story has a manga, there's obviously the light novel, there's the anime, and I decided to start with the light novel. So someone in my comments recommended this to me, like this story. So like I said, it's horror, and it sounds so interesting. So basically this is set in 1998, and it follows Koichi Sakakibara, who is transferred to this school, and in class he develops a sense of unease as he notices other people around him act like they're walking on eggshells, and students and teachers alike seem frightened. And then a chain of horrific deaths happen around him, and then he finds out that his class is haunted by a vengeful spirit who is responsible for the deaths. So basically he's trying to stop this spirit. I'm so excited about this. This is one of the ones I'm most excited about, so really hope I can read it ASAP. The next book I have is Wilder Girls by Rory Power, and this has intrigued me for so long. I believe it came out in 2019. So many people were reading it, and so many people have mixed reviews. So some people literally hate it. Some people literally love it. The biggest critique I've seen is the ending. A lot of people hate the ending. And usually when people hate endings, I don't hate them because I know a lot of people hate like unsatisfying endings or like that kind of thing, but usually I actually find that interesting. So I'm just so intrigued by this, and I've been meaning to read it for so long. So 2021 is the year that it finally needs to happen, you know? Okay, so it's a feminist LGBT plus sci-fi horror story. That just sounds amazing. Apparently there is a lot of gore, which I personally don't mind most of the time, but that's another thing I've seen people say like it's too much for them. So anyway, I'm just so excited to see what I think. Okay, the next category is just books that I've owned for quite a while and I need to read. So the first is The Alchemists of Loam by Elise Cover. I believe this is adult fantasy, and this is, I believe, a self-published book, so it is kind of expensive, but I really wanted to buy it before it was harder to get, because I saw that it was harder to get these books and stuff, and I have seen some people absolutely love this and a lot of people say it's like underrated and stuff, so it just sounds really cool. So in this world there's supposed to be dragons, this is supposed to have steampunk vibes, you know, there's a romance. It just sounds fun from what I know. I really thought I was going to read this year, but my fantasy reading has been kind of weird. Like I haven't always been in the mood for fantasy, but when I'm in the mood for fantasy, this is definitely one I want to read. The next book I have is Wild's Beauty by Anna Marie Miclemore, and I have been meaning to read a book by Anna Marie Miclemore for so long because I've heard such good things about their writing. I've heard it's just supposed to be that stunning, lyrical, stunning writing, you know? And from what I've heard about their writing style, it sounds like it's my vibe exactly. So I believe this is also magical realism, which I love. So basically from what I gather from the synopsis, this follows a family and they are cursed. So if they love too deeply, then their lover vanishes, which is so interesting. So like I said, I really think I'm gonna love this. And I've been craving this kind of story for a while now. Like I feel like it's been a while since I've read this kind of just like stunning, a bit weird kind of story, you know? So hopefully I love this. Okay, the next book is a book I really thought I would have read by now, but clearly not, and that is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I feel like I've talked about this book quite a lot on my channel because I think I've mentioned it in multiple TBRs. I feel like I just need to be in the right mood, and I haven't been in the fantasy mood, like this kind of high fantasy mood. So this is adult fantasy. It's supposed to be quite dense, but it's supposed to be amazing. So hopefully I'll be in that mood sometime in 2021 and I'll read it and I'll love it. Okay, so then I need to read Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. I've heard such amazing things about Murakami's work and I haven't read any yet, so I really want to change that in 2021. And this is the only book I have of his, but hopefully I love it and then read all his other books. This synopsis is kind of confusing, but basically it follows Kafka Tamura, who runs away from home at 15 under the shadow of his father's dark prophecy. I've heard this is like quite dark. I don't even know what genre it is. Isn't it interesting how they don't like put the genre on the book synopsis? Anyway, I don't know much about it, but like I said, I just really want to read Murakami's work. Yeah, hopefully I love it. The next book is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I was supposed to read this year. Haven't had time. It's a tragedy, honestly, so I don't want to talk about it too much. Let's just hope I freaking read it in 2021. The next book is my one non-fiction book I have on this list. I do want to read more non-fiction next year, but you know, this is the one I have right now. This is Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo-Lodge. And like I said, this is non-fiction. It talks about the inextricable link between class and race, eradicated Black history, and this focuses on racism in Britain. So, okay, and the last book on this list is my one classic. That is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Oh, I'm really excited about this. I'm just nervous because, you know, I'm not really a classics person and I just don't know how dense it's gonna be, but I've heard that this is quite accessible, like it's not too dense, and a lot of people think I'm going to love this book, so I'm gonna give it a try. And I love this copy, like I've mentioned in my book haul and stuff, but yeah, I have actually never seen any adaptations or anything, so I don't know anything about the story of Jane Eyre, which is good. So I'm excited to just see what it's about, and maybe I'll become obsessed with classics. I doubt it, but you never know. So anyway, I'm just excited to give this a try. Okay, so those are my top 21 books to read in 2021. If I actually read all of these in 2021, I feel like I should get $1 million or something, you know, like that would be amazing. I've never completed one of these lists. I'm gonna really try, but like I said at the beginning of the video, I am a mood reader, so I can't always force it, you know. But these are the books that I'm most excited about at the moment, so we'll see. I would love to know the top books that you plan to read in 2021. If you made it to the end of this video, put a green heart emoji in the comments. If you're looking for more content from me, I have a Patreon where I upload extra content like reading vlogs, live shows. We have a monthly buddy read. Oh, I should probably say the book we're buddy reading in January. So the book that we're buddy reading in January is Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. This would be on this list if I hadn't already had plans to read this, because I know I'm definitely gonna read it, you know, so. But anyway, I'm so excited about this. This is part memoir, part, you know, fiction, and it basically follows Echo Brown, who is a wizard. This is heavily autobiographical and it's infused with magical realism. It explores the intersections of poverty, sexual violence, depression, racism, and sexism. So I think this is going to be amazing. Can't wait for the buddy read. So basically, if you don't know, we buddy read it together all on Patreon. We have a Discord where we discuss the book, and I also do a spoiler-filled reading vlog that is exclusive to Patreon. So it's really fun. Yeah, that is always linked in my description. I have two other channels, Journal with Chloe and ASMR with Chloe. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, my handle is @bookswithchloe. And yeah, so I hope you all having a good day or night, and I'll see you in my next video.